Good morning to all my dear students. We are in Unit 1, wherein we started with the term meaning of constitution. We understood the definition of constitution. We also spoke regarding the importance and significance of constitution. Later, we spoke about the making of the constitution, which led to the drafting of the Indian constitution. And in my previous classes, we dealt with a topic titled as Silent Features of Indian Constitution, which is also called as the characteristics of Indian Constitution. So, in my today's class, we are going to start understanding, or we are going to deal with a topic which is titled as the preamble of the Constitution. As a citizen of a country, you have to be aware about the preamble of the Constitution and understand each word in the Constitution, why it has been framed, what is the objective of incorporating specific words in this preamble. So, when I start with this topic, students, when I speak about the preamble of the Constitution all over the world generally have a preamble. Sometimes it so happens that the form, the length, and the content of the preamble may differ from one country to the other country. You will not find the preamble of every country similar to that of the other country. But when I speak about this preamble, irrespective of all the differences it has, the preamble of a country generally sets goals, or you can say objectives, which the framers of the Constitution intend to achieve those goals. Hence, when I speak about the preamble of the Constitution, students, we had thought it as a dream, because when I speak about the preamble of the Constitution, it embodies or it incorporates all sorts of ideas, all sorts of aspirations for which the country has struggled from the British regime, or you can say from the British rule. So, when I speak about the origin of the word preamble, it is derived from a Latin word, which means that to go before. Students, when I speak about the preamble of the Constitution, it explains again the philosophy of the entire Constitution, and mainly it is a key to open the minds of the framers of the Constitution. With this introduction, I will summarize the Constitution, the actual preamble of our Constitution. The preamble of our Constitution states that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialistic, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice in the form of social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote them all, fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individuals and the unit, and very importantly, the integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November in the year 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves thus Constitution. Students, you have to understand the preamble of the Constitution. This is the preamble of our Constitution. Now, in our today's class, we are going to understand the meaning of each word incorporated in the preamble of the Constitution. I have read the preamble of the Constitution. Now, in our class, we are going to understand the meaning of each word, why it is titled so, and what is the objective of the framers of the Constitution to incorporate these words in the preamble of the Constitution. So let's start with understanding the meaning of the terms used in the preamble of the Constitution. So the first word which speaks that we, the people of India. So when I speak about we, the people of India, students, these are the opening words of the preamble. When I speak about this word called as we, the people of India, it emphasizes, it tells that the ultimate authority of people from those will and a desire of the Constitution is emerged only and only according to the will and the desire of the citizens of the country. It clearly indicates that it is for us, it is we, the people of our country, of India. Students, when I speak about the Constitution of our India, since the Constituent Assembly enacted and adopted the Constitution, it was enacted in the name of the people of our country. The source of the Constitution, therefore, was framed by the people of our countries or our country themselves. The people were involved in framing the Constitution, and people of our own country were involved in making the Constitution. This affirmative action, that is, I told you, this positive action affirms that the republic and democratic character of our country, and it also speaks regarding the sovereignty of the people. When I speak about the sovereignty of the people, I explained you sovereignty means supremacy, it means independentness. Hence, when I speak about the word we, the people of India, it constitutes that there is a sovereign political body wherein the ultimate powers lies in the hands of the people or citizens of the country who conduct the government of the country, because we follow elected representatives, because we are the people who elect representatives of our country. So when I speak about the word we, the people of India, you have to understand that the ultimate authority, the ultimate power lies in the hands of people of our country, because the constitution of our country is framed by the people themselves. It is not framed by outsiders. What laws they wanted to incorporate to safeguard the citizens of our country, these have been incorporated by the citizens and the people of our own country. Hence, the preamble of our constitution starts with some opening words called as we, the people of India. It is for us, it is framed by us, and mainly it is to achieve the aspirations and goals of the citizens of our own country. Next, the next word which speaks about sovereignty. So here you can say that we, the people of India, have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, into a socialistic, into a secular, into a democratic republic. Now we are going to understand the meaning of each term. So let's understand what is the meaning of the term sovereignty, which I have already explained you all in the silent features of the constitution. Students, when I speak about sovereignty, the preamble of our constitution proclaims that the solemn resolvation of the people of our country, which aims to constitute India into a sovereign, socialistic, and secular and democratic republic. So, to understand the meaning of the term sovereign, students, the word sovereign means or indicates that India is not subjected to any external authority. It purely means that sovereign means independentness, or you can say that sovereign means supremacy. So when I speak about it aims to make India sovereign, it means that it aims to make India an independent nation, supreme power. When I speak about sovereignty, students, it is internally and externally sovereign. It means that no other country has a right to interfere in the external and internal working of the government or the authorities. It has been regarded as a free government wherein it is not being ruled or nobody is dominating our country. The people of our country elect the representatives of our country and makes laws that govern the aspirations of our own country. It means that the ultimate power lies in the hands of the people, or the decision making power is lied in the hands of the people. So when I speak about sovereignty, students, you have to understand that sovereign means independence. Sovereignty means supreme power. So when I speak about sovereignty, our country aims to become independent, and hence this word was been included in the preamble. Our country aims to be the supreme power which lies in the hands of the people of our own country. So when I speak about sovereignty, you have to attach it with the word called as independentness and supremacy. Next, when I speak about the word socialistic, when I speak about the word socialistic, students, you have to understand that when the preamble of the constitution was being framed, this word socialistic was not being included. But I told you in the making of the constitution, or I told you in the silent features of the constitution, that our constitution has an article which incorporates amendments, that is, changes. The framers of the constitution can make changes whenever they deem it necessary, and hence this word socialistic was included in the preamble of the constitution according to the 42nd amendment. So when I speak about socialistic country, The constitution of our India aims our country to be a socialistic country. What do you mean by socialistic country? When I speak about the word socialistic, it means that bringing social equality, bringing in economic equality. Now, what do you mean by social equality? Students, when I speak about social equality, it means that there is absence or means of absence of discrimination. Now, discrimination means what? Discrimination made on the grounds of caste, discrimination made on the basis of color, creed, sex, religion, and language. So, this was a necessity, and hence this word was brought or incorporated in the preamble of the Constitution. When I speak about social equality, it means that no citizen should be deprived from his rights. No citizen of the country should be discriminated or differentiated on the basis of caste, creed, religion, sex, language. Now, when I speak about economic sociality or economic equality, it means that the government of the India should try to make an attempt without any biasness, without any favoritism, to bring in distribution of wealth equally so that it provides a basic standard of living to all the citizens of the country. So this was one more objective of incorporating this word in the preamble of the Constitution. It had two objectives. First one, bringing in social equality, wherein no citizen is deprived or differentiated on the basis of caste, creed, religion, sex, and language. Second one, when I speak about economic equality, means every citizen should at least, the government should at least ensure that he has the basic standard of living in terms of food, clothing, and shelter. When I speak about socialism, students, our country aimed or tried to achieve end for poverty, you can say end for ignorance, end for inequality of opportunities, etc. And mainly, it tried to stop this differentiation and equalize each citizen of the country and make every citizen of the country equal in the eyes of law. So this is the meaning of the term socialistic. Next, when I speak about the term secular, when I speak about the term secular, students, the preamble of our constitution proclaims that India should be a secular country. It means in simple language that when I speak about the term secular, secular means all religions are equal before the law. It follows a basic principle or a line called as Sarva Dharma Samabhav. It means that all the citizens are equal in the eyes of law. India as a country is neutral to all the religions. There is no a country sponsored religion. Therefore, when I speak about our country, students, it does not have a specific religion. We have different religions and people of different religions residing in our country. We have different cultures followed in our country. We do not have a specific religion nor a dominating religion. And when I speak about secularism, students, very importantly, every citizen in our country has a right to preach any sort of religion, to practice any religion, and to spread any religion they choose by themselves. All citizens, when I speak about every citizen of our country, irrespective of whichever religion they belong, they are considered to be equal in the eyes of law. There is no a specific religion of a country, and hence the main aim of our preamble is to incorporate secularism, wherein all the religions are equal before the eyes of law or in the eyes of law. Now, when I speak about the next term, which speaks about democratic country, students, when I speak about democracy, our country is a democratic country. When I speak about a democracy, democracy implies that the government of India is being carried out on the basis of elected representatives of the, and these elective representatives are chosen by the people of the own country itself or the citizens of the country. When I speak about this word democratic or democracy, you have to remember this line very importantly, that when I speak about the government of India, students, the government of the country aims at democracy, which means that the representatives are elected and they are not selected. We elect them on the basis of a term called as adult franchise, wherein each and every citizen of a country, once he attains the age of majority, has a right to vote. So, when I speak about this democracy, students, you have to understand very importantly that the preamble of the Constitution very importantly speaks about or tells that the government is of the people, it is by the people, and it is mainly for the people. So, three terminologies you have to understand when I speak about democracy. The government is of the people, it is by the people, and very importantly, it is for the people. So, we have a universal voting system wherein the people of the country are elected
Yes,
are elected at all the
ma'am,
levels.
got you.
So when I speak about democracy, you have to remember that the government is of the people, it is by the people, and mainly it is for the people. Every citizen in our country has a right to vote. Every citizen enjoys this right through a system called as adult franchise, wherein once he attains the age of majority, he has a right to vote. And every citizen enjoys this right without any discrimination made on the basis of caste, creed, color, and religion. Then the sixth word, which speaks about the republic. When I speak about republic, students, It means that republic means no office in the public, that is, governmental authorities, is hereditary. When I speak about republic, I'll explain you all in a simple words. In simple words, students, all government offices are open to the public, which means that in our country, we do not follow a monarchy system, or the monarchy does not prevails, wherein the head of the country, in a monarchy system, students, the head of the country is not chosen. It is inherited from generation to generations. They do not have a system wherein they are electing. They have already been selected. And how they are selected? They are selected on the basis of a hereditary system. But when I speak about our own country, the preamble of our constitution incorporates specifically this word called as republic. Now, when I speak about republic, students, you have to understand that we do not have a hereditary system in terms of representatives of our country. When I speak about the republican form of government, we, the people of our country, elect the head of our country, and he is elected either directly or indirectly. And mainly, he is elected for a fixed period of time. The tenure of his service is being fixed. It may be for 5 years, 3 years, etc. When I speak about the president of our country, he is elected by an electoral system, wherein he has a tenure of 5 years of service. When I speak about our country, students, the president of our country is not elected through a hereditary system. And very importantly, every citizen of our country is eligible to become the president of our country. So when I speak about this word republic, you have to understand that our country follows a system wherein the representatives of the country are being elected and not selected. And our country, unlike the other countries, do not follow a monarchy system of rule wherein the head of the countries are being selected on the basis of a hereditary system or through succession of people. It is only and only through the election of the people made by the citizens of our country, wherein our constitution of our India gives a right to vote. So here we understood the first part of the preamble, wherein I spoke about we, the people of India. When I spoke about the meaning of the term sovereign, which means supremacy, independentness, I spoke about the word socialistic, means all citizens or all religions in the country are equal in the eyes of law. When I spoke about socialistic, I spoke that the government aims to bring in social equality, wherein no citizen is discriminated on the basis of caste, creed, religion, language, etc. It aims to bring in economic equality to give minimum standard of living to all the citizens of the country. When I speak about secular, I already told you that all religions are equal before the eyes of law. When I speak about a democratic, it means that each and every citizen in the country has a right to vote, and he gets this right through an adult franchise system. When I speak about republic, the public government offices are open to all the citizens of the country, and we follow a system wherein the representatives are elected. every citizen is eligible to become the head of the country. No person is being deprived of his rights. Now, when I speak about the next part of the preamble of the Constitution, which says that it secures to all citizens justice. Now, students, when I speak about justice, there are mainly three types of justice in the preamble of the Constitution. When I speak about justice, it includes social justice, it includes political justice, and it includes economic justice. Now, when I speak about all these three types of justice, first one, when I speak about social justice, it means, in short, again, the repetition point, wherein I spoke already this point in terms of socialistic country, wherein when I speak about the term social justice, it implies that all the citizens in our country are treated equally, irrespective of whichever caste, creed, religion, sex, and language they belong to. I want to stress this point again. When I speak about justice in terms of political justice, when I speak about political justice, students, you have to understand that it implies that equal rights are given to all the citizens of the country in the political process of the country. Like I can give you an example of election. Every person is being ensured that he is given equal right, and there is no discrimination which is made on the basis of, again, race, caste, color, creed, religion, language. Every citizen is equal in the eyes of the law in terms of political process. That is, you can say, example is of elections. Now, when I speak about the next term, economic justice, the constitution of our country, by incorporating the preamble of the constitution, aims at bringing economic justice, which means treating the rich and the poor alike and bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. I told you already that there should be no discrimination made between the rich and the poor people. And if there is some sort of differences, the preamble of the Constitution aims to bridge that gap and treat all the citizens of the country equally. So, again, I would repeat this point when I speak about justice, students. When I speak about the term justice, you have to understand that social justice, there are three types of justice: social, economical, and political. When I speak about social, no person is discriminated on the basis of caste, creed, religion, sex, and language. When I speak about political justice, every citizen has a right in the political process. No person is being deprived of his right on the basis of any sort of discrimination. And when I speak about the third, economic justice, each and every citizen has a right to get a minimum standard of living. There should be no discrimination between the rich and the poor. Next, when I speak about the next terminology, which speaks about liberty, you have to understand that, students. When I speak about liberty, it implies that there is a liberty of thought which is given to every citizen. There is liberty of expression. There is liberty of means belief. There is a liberty of faith. There is a liberty of worship. That means that these all liberties, these all have incorporated in a separate part in our constitution of our India. Every citizen has a freedom. Liberty means what in simple language? Freedom. Every citizen has a freedom of thought. Every citizen has a freedom of expression. Every citizen has a freedom of faith, belief, and worship. The next point, which speaks about equality, it means that there is, through this preamble, equality of status and opportunities given to all the citizens of the country. All the citizens of the country are treated equally in the eyes of law. There is no favoritism done. No one is treated superior, nor no one is treated inferior. Equal opportunities, walks of lives are under equal circumstances and are being equally provided or promoted to each and every citizen of the country. So when I speak about equality, the term itself tell you. The term equality means equal status, equal opportunities. So every citizen is equal in the eyes of law. And when I speak about fraternity, students, fraternity in simple language means brotherhoodness. We say, no, all citizens of the country are my brothers and sisters, right? All are my brothers. It means that it was incorporated with the objective of bringing the spirit of brotherhoodness among the people of the country. All should be united, all should be integrated, and we should consider India as one country, irrespective of you belong to any religion, caste, creed, color, etc. We should follow a system of brotherhoodness, ensuring the dignity of an individual as a country, as a unit, and integrity of the entire nation. So when I speak about this, I have explained you all what is the meaning of justice, social justice, political justice, economic justice. Liberty means freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, belief, worship, expression, worship, etc. When I speak about equality, equality of status, opportunity. When I speak about fraternity, fraternity means a spirit of brotherhoodness. Students, when I speak about, there's one important case wherein the case was titled as Keshavananda versus State of Kerala. In this case, students, the Supreme Court has given a beautiful line, and hence I have incorporated this case. The case explained that the importance and significance of the preamble of the Constitution. This Keshavananda versus State of Kerala, the Supreme Court gave a beautiful decision wherein the Supreme Court stated that preamble is an important part of the constitution of our country and hence it cannot be amended, means it cannot be changed. If you change the preamble, you will disturb the entire structure of the constitution. Hence, when I speak about the preamble of the constitution, students, it is one of the best and it is one of the important part ever drafted in the constitution. Students, when I speak about the preamble of the constitution, it gives you a glance, it gives you a glimpse over the entire world and it will show you what are the ideas, what are the expressions which are universal in nature, and what are the goals and objectives achieved in our constitution of our country. So this is one of the most leading and a famous case wherein the Court stated that the preamble is a part of the Constitution and it cannot be amended. If it is amended, the basic structure of a constitution will detain or it will be changed. Okay. Now, when I speak about the importance of constitution, students, in case of constitution, preamble is considered to be an important part. So let's understand what is the importance of preamble in just two lines. When I speak about the preamble, it indicates the source from which the constitution has been derived. And very importantly, it states the objectives of the constitutions, which helps to establish and promote. And very importantly, it is considered to be a part of the constitution. Hence, the preamble of our constitution is a very important part of the constitution. In our today's class, we spoke about the Constitution of India. I explained in detail what is the meaning of the term used or incorporated in the preamble of the Constitution. I spoke about each term in detail, wherein I explained you what is the meaning of we the people of India. What do you mean by sovereignty? It means supremeness or independentness. Socialistic, which was incorporated by amendment, which means that bringing in social equality and economic equality. Secularness, wherein all religions are treated, all citizens are treated equally, irrespective of any religion they belong to. Democratic, every citizen has a right to vote. Republic, the government offices are open to each citizen. Each citizen is eligible in the eyes of law. When I speak about justice, social justice, economical justice, political justice, liberty means freedom, freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship. Equality, equality of status, equality of opportunities. Fraternity means a spirit of brotherhoodness. Hence, it was incorporated on the 26th day of November in the year 1949, wherein the preamble of our constitution was being adopted, enacted, and given to all the people and the citizens of the country. With this, I end my today's class. Have a good day. Thank you.